What is up, Battle Squad, and welcome to another episode of LBFT, or Logan Battles Football Talk. For this episode, we're going to be talking about my prediction for the upcoming 2018 through 19 NFL playoff schedule. This is a very early prediction. A very early prediction. It's not a prediction for a regular season schedule for any team or any conference of teams in general. This is just my very early prediction of what the 2018 through 19 playoffs in the NFL are going to look like for me personally. These are just my personal picks. These are my personal predictions for which teams I think will go through the playoffs, and which two teams will I predict to go to the Super Bowl 53. We will find out on that one. So, without any further ado, let's get started. So, we start off with this chart that I already have made for you guys, just to see what the playoffs look, what the whole playoff picture looks like. I have the AFC and the NFC, and what I'm going to do with this one is I'm going to pick 4 teams to be on both of those conferences, NFC and AFC. 4 teams for each conference. So I'm going to be starting off by saying the 4 teams for each of those conferences, the NFC and the AFC, are 4 teams that I now am showing. The Denver Broncos and Jacksonville Jaguars I picked to face each other in the wild card round, in one of the wild card matches. And then another one in the AFC. Another wild card match in the AFC is Houston versus Kansas City. The Houston Texans versus Kansas City Chiefs. And then, that's what the AFC wild card looks like. What about the NFC wild card? Well, you already seen it right now, but I'm just going to say it. The Seattle Seahawks and the Minnesota Vikings. I picked them to be in that matchup, to be in that NFC wildcard matchup, because I think it seems like a reasonable matchup to be to watch or to start in. Another NFC wildcard matchup I have are the Los Angeles Rams and the Green Bay Packers. That is also an interesting wildcard matchup that is going to be watched by many people, especially when Aaron Rodgers plays with them in the playoffs, in the wildcard. Because I think Green Bay Packers, even though they're going to have Aaron Rodgers, they still might have maybe 5 or 6 losses, let's just say, or 4. But anyway, so now that I already got 4 teams for each of the 2 conferences, the AFC and the NFC, are right on the chart. I'm looking at 4 teams that will be beaten in the wild card. In 4 of the wild card matches, 4 teams will be beaten by another in a wild card matchup. For the Denver Broncos and Jacksonville Jaguars matchup in the wild card for the AFC, I'm picking the Jacksonville Jaguars to beat the Denver Broncos. So that puts a red mark on the Denver Broncos. Another AFC match in the wild card, the Houston Texans and the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm putting in red X on the Kansas City Chiefs. I think that, and the only reason why is because despite Alex Smith no longer being the quarterback for the team, I still think they are just at least 1 year behind the Houston Texans, because the Houston Texans have Deshaun Watson, and when the Houston Texans have Deshaun Watson and he stays healthy in the upcoming season, which I believe he will, then the Houston Rockets overall are a better team than the Kansas City Chiefs. So, on to the NFC wildcard matchups. Seattle Seahawks versus Minnesota Vikings. This is going to be a tough one. I would say the Seattle Seahawks. Well, I mean, y'all already saw it because it's been popped up like a minute or two ago. But I apologize. But anyway, the Seattle Seahawks will get a red X on this one because I think that Dalvin Cook will stay healthy, like I just said about Deshaun Watson with the Houston Rockets. I believe that Dalvin Cook with the Minnesota Vikings will be enough for the Vikings to win the wildcard matchup against the Seattle Seahawks. So that puts a red X on the Seattle Seahawks. And then the Los Angeles Rams and the Green Bay Packers matchup in the NFC wildcard round. You already saw it. I picked the Los Angeles Rams to lose to the Green Bay Packers with Aaron Rodgers. So red X on the Los Angeles Rams. So that is the wildcard round. I got the wildcard finish. Now let's move on. Let's move on to the divisional round, which makes it to be 4 teams coming out of a bye week against 4 teams that have lost and other 4 teams that have won in the wildcard matches. So, Houston Rockets will be, I predict, will go against Big Ben Roethlisberger and the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I picked the Jacksonville Jaguars to go against the New England Patriots. And this is the AFC divisional round. Now, on the NFC divisional round, I have the Minnesota Vikings facing the Philadelphia Eagles, the defending Super Bowl champions. I have the Minnesota Vikings going up against the Philadelphia Eagles. I predicted. And another NFC divisional matchup, I have Aaron Rodgers' Green Bay Packers going up against Drew Brees' New Orleans Saints. Yes, I believe that the New Orleans Saints with Drew Brees will come back in the playoffs. I do believe that. And this might be one of, if not my most anticipated NFL playoff game of 2018 through 19. If it ever happens, that is going to be amazeballs. I'm telling you that right now. I would love to see a playoff match between Aaron Rodgers and Drew Brees. That is going to be excellent. I hope that is going to be the matchup in this upcoming playoff schedule. But the likely scenario is that that's not going to happen, but I'm hoping it does. So now that I already predicted that the New Orleans Saints and the Green Bay Packers are going to be facing each other in the divisional round, I have, and I already have the red X on the Saints, so I have the Green Bay Packers as the winners against the Saints of New Orleans. So, and I forgot. Oh, yeah, that's right. Going back to the AFC divisional round, I picked the New England Patriots to beat the Jacksonville Jaguars. As much as it pains me to say that, I'm going with a likely scenario that the New England Patriots are the favorites to win a divisional matchup, no matter who they face in that divisional matchup. And I predicted the Jacksonville Jaguars would be the team that they face in the divisional matchup. And I also predicted them to beat the Jacksonville Jaguars. So that pains me to say it, but it's the likely scenario, so I'm going with that. And I predicted the Pittsburgh Steelers to beat the Houston Rockets. So again, that puts the Houston Rockets on, not Houston Rockets. What? I'm not talking NBA, I'm talking NFL. What is wrong with me? I don't know. But anyway, I have the Pittsburgh Steelers beating the Houston Texans with Deshaun Watson. So that puts a red X on the Houston Texans. I think that the Pittsburgh Steelers would be a bit too much for the Houston Texans to beat. Or I should say, the Pittsburgh Steelers would be a force to, or would be the team to beat for the Houston Rockets in this particular case. So that, like I just said, the Pittsburgh Steelers, I picked them to beat the Houston Texans in the divisional round. So that I got done with the whole divisional round. Let's move on to the conference round. This is going to be interesting. And I say interesting in a magnificent way, because I have the Green Bay Packers with Aaron Rodgers going up against the defending Super Bowl champions, the Philadelphia Eagles, in the NFC Championship, en route to the Super Bowl. And I also have the Pittsburgh Steelers with Big Ben Roethlisberger going up against the New England Patriots in the AFC Championship, en route to the Super Bowl. So, and there are a plethora of reasons why I said this is going to be an interesting round to watch, especially two different conference championship matches. But I'm just going to say one. On the NFC Championship game with the Philadelphia Eagles and the Green Bay Packers, one of the reasons I said that this is going to be very, very interesting is because despite the Philadelphia Eagles being a better team than the Green Bay Packers, I can't help but think that Aaron Rodgers would be too much for the Philadelphia Eagles to overcome in a game like this. I think that Aaron Rodgers would give the Philadelphia Eagles defense a very, very hard time and a very rough night, or if they ever played at night. I said that the Philadelphia Eagles would be a better team than the Green Bay Packers, but Aaron Rodgers would be too much for the Philadelphia Eagles to beat. And this is all that, and that reason why is due to a thing that I would call the LeBron James syndrome. Remember back in the last playoffs, specifically the Eastern semifinals? Is that the one? Where LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers faced the Toronto Raptors, who had they faced for how many times? Like 11 straight times, and never lost to them in a playoff game since 2014 or 15, or 2016. I can't exactly remember, but he was the LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers had to go up against the Toronto Raptors, and they swept them out of the Eastern semifinals. Despite the Toronto Raptors being a better overall team than the Cleveland Cavaliers, but LeBron James being the Toronto Raptors' kryptonite. That's what I'm seeing with the matchup between the Green Bay Packers and the Philadelphia Eagles. You know, Aaron Rodgers being the Philadelphia Eagles' kryptonite, despite the Philadelphia Eagles being a better team than the Green Bay Packers. Just to get that analogy in here, I understand that the Philadelphia Eagles, like I just said a few times already, they're a better team than the Green Bay Packers, but Aaron Rodgers, I feel like would be too much for the Philadelphia Eagles to win a game. So with that being said, I have, and going to the AFC Championship game between the Pittsburgh Steelers and the New England Patriots, it's going to be a very tough matchup to watch. I feel like both teams are going to compete to the very few last minutes of the fourth quarter of the game. Both teams are going to battle each other to the last few minutes of the game. But I feel like the victor for the AFC Championship game, for me, would be Tom Brady and the New England Patriots beating Big Ben Roethlisberger and the Pittsburgh Steelers. And then, because Tom Brady is a 5-time Super Bowl champion, and he's one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. I'm not going to deny that. And the New England Patriots are a very, very good team. Although I don't know if they'll be as good of a team this year as they were last season or the year before. But we will see how that goes. So, but anyway, I picked the New England Patriots to beat the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I picked the Green Bay Packers to beat the Philadelphia Eagles, which makes the Super Bowl 53 matchup to be between the Green Bay Packers and the New England Patriots. Aaron Rodgers against Tom Brady in a Super Bowl. How awesome would that be? I would say very awesome. Two really great quarterbacks going up against each other. That would be awesome to see. I cannot wait for that matchup. So, those are just my predictions for which teams will come out of the NFC and AFC conferences. I picked the Green Bay Packers to come out of the NFC conference, and I predicted the New England Patriots to barely come out of the AFC conference, just barely beating the Pittsburgh Steelers. So yeah, guys. Like I said, those are my this is my prediction for the whole 2018 through 19 NFL playoff schedule. This, like I said, this is just my prediction. I am not sitting here saying that these are the games that are really going to happen without a doubt. No, that's not what that's not what I was doing in this episode. What I'm doing here is trying to give some prediction and analysis, or trying to give a prediction and give you my opinions and analysis to support my prediction. Just sort of letting you know who which team I think will come out of the NFC and the AFC. And you already know who I picked to come out of the NFC and the AFC. So, anyway, guys, this is episode 4 of the LBFT, Logan Battles Football Talk, Season 2. So anyway, guys, this is episode 4 of the LBFT, Logan Battles Football Talk, Season 2. If you guys enjoyed this episode, please click the like button, and if you agree or don't agree with my prediction, comment below and let me know what your prediction for the 2018 through 19 NFL playoff schedule is. I can't wait to find out in the comments section. If you enjoy what you've seen here and you want to see future videos from me, please press the subscribe button and turn on that notification bell so that you never miss a video. I will see you guys in the next video. Have a great week, Battle Squad, and as always, fight the good fight.